Welcome back to another YouTube video. I am joined with Julian Goldie once again.
Hello, hello. Long time no see.
Yeah, long time. So today we are talking about the six biggest SEO myths and going into 2024. And also some of these have been going around for quite some time as well. But yeah, let's kickstart it off with one of yours, Julian.
All right. So one of the myths that obviously owning a link building agency we get asked about all the time is like a lot of clients really believe in vanity metrics instead of using common sense, and it is a common problem. And I understand why, because there's all these articles out there from people who don't build links that talk about this. But basically, clients will come to us and they'll be like, right, we want DR 90 backlinks only from pages with 10,000 traffic or more, ranking number one for our target keywords, or we don't want backlinks at all. And it's like these vanity metrics like DR, organic traffic, number one, they can be easily manipulated. But number two, I don't think there's anything that exists such as a perfect link, because
No.
there's always a case of like compromising, right? Like you have to look at all the options you have available to you realistically, filter down from there, and then go out and build links. For example, like we were just talking about it before, but if a client comes to you and they want to rank number one for the best golf club for men, and then they expect backlinks from all the pages ranking on the first page for that keyword, well, it's just not going to happen because those pages don't want to link to their competitors.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also,
Yeah. Go
go
on.
on.
No. No.
Yeah, and I
You.
think it's like if you want to rank, you don't have to just focus on these vanity metrics. Like there are many ways that you can rank with backlinks, and you have to be more strategic with it. And I think as well, you have to kind of find ways that you can still make your links look natural and relevant, but also work with the options that you have. Like if you are a CNC machining website, your options are going to be way more limited than if your website talking about like news in general or a much broader niche, right?
Yeah, definitely. I get this a lot at our agency as well, where people think that if they're in the UK, they need .co.uk domains, and they need to be relevant and they need to be high DR. And it's like, whoa, you've just removed 85%, 90% of the entire web just by adding all of these filters. And again, once you start breaking it down, so let's say a guest post from a .co.uk or a guest post from a .com, Google still passes page rank through to your website. So you just need to bear those things in mind. Now, again, that's not to say you should only be getting .co.uk's or you should only be getting .coms. What you ideally want to do is just get a mixture of both, and that's what we always recommend. So, say for example, if we can find a super relevant website to do with golf holidays or whatever the case may be, we're going to get you that link. But if it's super relevant, it might be low DR. So it might be a DR 25, 30 website. But then we might find you a super powerful link to do with just holidays in general. And that might be like, let's say, a DR 65 link. But again, you just need to mix around those different variations. And again, one thing that you didn't mention, Julian, and this would probably help a lot of people understand this, is let's say, for example, right, somebody comes to either myself or Julian for link building, and they say, right, I want a DR95 website talking about CNC machining, and it needs to be getting 10,000 traffic, right? And let's say me and Julian are wizards and we're able to find 25, 30 of these dream scenario links. Do you not think that that's a footprint? Because none of your competitors will have that. I can guarantee all of your competitors will have a mixture of guest posts on DR30 websites, DR50 websites. So you need to bear in mind with the actual footprint in it as well. Because again, if me and Julian were the wizards when it comes to links, and we did able to actually get those DR90s and stuff, you just need to bear in mind that it is a footprint.
Yeah, I think the other thing as well, like when you're filtering out for metrics and you're using DR and page traffic, and then maybe some people still use like trust score and DA even,
Mm-hmm.
which blows my mind because that's not been updated for about 5 or 10 years almost. But essentially, if you look at that, it's like, right, what percentage of sites on the whole internet actually get traffic? Probably 9%
Yeah,
out of 100%, right? And then, okay, what percentage of those sites that get traffic are DR30 or higher? And that's probably even a tinier percentage. And then, what percentage of those sites are relevant to your niche based on that? And then, what percentage are actually ready to link to you? And it's like, by the time you get from point A to your final goal, you're looking at like 1% of the internet that you can actually build links to,
yeah,
maximum.
exactly that. And then obviously you need to worry about like the link deficit. So, for example, your competitors might have 500 referring domains, and you've narrowed it down to 1% of the web, or what 1% of a relevant industry, which might be 25 links. And it's like, well, you're never going to be able to build the 500 missing links that you need. So you always just need to bear that in mind. Is there anything else that you want to add to this tip? Because I feel like this could be done as a separate video, like just link building myths. But yeah, is there anything else that you want to add on your end to
That's pretty
that?
much it. I think just
Right.
be ready to compromise when it comes to link building, because otherwise you'll limit your options. And while you're worrying about, okay, where do I get the backlinks from? Your competitors are in the background building backlinks and moving faster than you.
Exactly that. SEO is hyper competitive. So my tip is SEO is or not tip, sorry, myth. SEO is a one and done deal. I'm sure you've probably heard this from a lot more novice business owners where they don't know SEO as much. But I get asked this a lot where it's like, yeah, my web developer's done the SEO. It's going to rank now. And I feel like a lot of business owners need to hear this, where SEO is never just a one and done type thing. Like you can have the best looking website, but if it's not actually driving any clicks or impressions from Google, it's kind of like having a Ferrari with no engine inside. The SEO is the engine, your website design and your website structure is the actual Ferrari shell or the Ferrari body part. Um, so yeah, it's I think that's probably one of the biggest mythical questions that I get asked. Have you ever heard that yourself?
Yeah, I think it's a mistake because it's just the wrong mindset from day one, right? It's like with SEO, it's really like brushing your teeth. And you would never stop brushing your teeth, hopefully, because it's something you have to do every single day. And if you don't maintain it, you're going to go backwards whilst your competitors going ahead of you. I think the other thing as well, the way that I see it, and it's the same with any part of business, it's never done. It's just a game of continuous improvement. And hopefully, what I see in 12 months is that I'll look back and think, we were doing things totally wrong last year. We need to improve
Yeah,
again this year, and just improving 1% every day. And I think as well, if you take your eye off the targets that you have with SEO, then it will drop down, and all the systems that you built will drop down as well, and all the people you have working on that will drop as well. So it's like, don't forget about it. Don't set it and forget it. Stay really focused on it and keep building, because that's where you're going to get the gains.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I agree with what you've said. Like when it's if you're looking at content uploading or whether it's link building, if you're going up against, let's say, 10 law firms, you can pretty much guarantee they will be uploading articles every single month to their website. They will be building links to their website as well. So you just need to bear that in mind. SEO is hyper competitive. It's not just a one size fits all, or it's not just like okay, that's your SEO done, now you're going to rank, because it's not the case. So yeah, what's your SEO myth number two?
SEO myth number two is that insert number here, posts per day is safe. So, for example, publishing 3 posts per day or 5 posts per day, etc. I've seen some YouTube influencers talk about how a certain amount of posts per day is safe, and going above that threshold is totally unsafe. And I think if you speak to people who are really scaling things, then you'll soon find that, for example, I was interviewing Robert Nickjow earlier this week, who does programmatic SEO. He built a site with 300,000 pages, brand new site, and 150,000 of them indexed within the first month. And it's like, good luck with your 3 posts a day, mate. How are you going to compete with that? And so I think that obviously you don't need to take it to that extreme. Like, these are
Yeah,
two totally different ends of the spectrum. I'm not going to publish 150,000 posts in 1 month, but I do think that there's no like set or cap. It's just about, okay, what looks natural and how is your website being crawled so far, and what might be safe for my industry might be totally different to your industry as well.
Yeah, again, it boils down to SEO isn't just a one size fits all. Like I'm in a lot of gambling industries. In gambling, you need really good content and you need a lot of backlinks. Whereas if you're trying to rank for, I don't know, um, plumbers in Wyoming, you might not need that many links and you might not need that many articles as well. So again, it comes down to what you're trying to what's your end goal? Are you trying to dominate the entire internet like what Robert Nichil's doing, or are you just trying to go after like a local small town and trying to rank there? So again, it just comes down to what's your end goal. One question I want to ask you is how many articles on one website have you uploaded in one day? Like, what's the maximum number?
I think the maximum is probably about 1,000, and I did that in
One
just
thousand.
I just sat down for 60 minutes. I think it was about this time last year. Opened up Autoblog in AI, and I had a great time.
Yeah, it's autoblogging.ai is I see it as a machine gun sometimes. Like you can really go crazy with that. I think the most that I've done is about 250, 300. I need to up my numbers. Need to up
Falling
those
behind
numbers.
it.
Yeah, I know. um, so is there anything else that you want to add to that myth before we move on?
Yeah, I think it's just a case of like measuring, okay, is what I'm publishing so far actually indexing? And if it
Yeah,
is, then you can afford to try
gradually
and publish more.
increasing it. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So my next myth is longer content equals better rankings. So this is myth number 4. I don't know if you've ever heard this, but it's not actually the case. In some cases, being able to spit out the exact same answer in less amount of words is actually better. It means that you're watering down your content less. So your content from a page point of view actually holds more weight. So again, I don't know if you remember this, like it still is the case now. A link higher up the page holds more weight. And again, it goes with your content as well. So if say for example we're competitors and we're trying to rank for example, let's say the ultimate guide on running a marathon, right? And your guide might be 10,000 words and mine might be 5,000 words. But at the end of the day, we're spitting out the exact same answer and I have 5,000 words less. You're wasting Google's crawl budget less as well. So ultimately, it means that Google likes your website more because you're spitting out the exact same answer, less words, less Google's resources as well. So yeah, that's just one thing to bear in mind, especially when people are talking about like content length and word count and stuff like that. Just bear that in mind when you are producing articles.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that, man. I think, like, for example, if you're trying to rank for something like conducts eat peanuts, right? Question I often Google myself. You don't need to write like 1,000 or 2,000 words on that. You want to get straight to the point, right? And one of the things that I find, especially nowadays with ChatGPT and auto-blogging content and that sort of thing, is like you got to cut out the fluff. I think that's a big part of the game now. It's like it's not so much about creating more content; it's about chiseling down that big block that you've already got. Kind of like a sculptor would. If they had a big block of stone, they're going to chisel it down, and it's more about what they don't do than what they actually do. And it's the same with any type of content. Like for example, YouTube now. If you look at the videos that are being published, especially mine and the growth that our channel has had, and I think it's the same with you guys, bro, is like when you get straight to the point and you cut out all the fluff, it just helps the person watching so much more. And then quite a lot of the time, I don't know about you, but if I look at some other YouTube videos, especially from a couple of years ago, I'm just like, get to the bloody point, mate.
Yeah, we've got an attention span of a goldfish now, especially with the rise of like TikTok and Shorts and Reels and stuff. Everybody just wants the answer now, um, and they want to cut out the fluff. And again, it's the exact same thing when it comes to content. Like I've seen it time and time again. If you're using in particular content writers and you're not using AI content writers, one thing to bear in mind is if they've been told that they need to write 10,000 or 1,000 words, let's say, does that article really need 1,000 words, or are you just ordering 1,000 words because that's their quota? So you just bear certain things like that in mind, because in some cases they will be trying to essentially pad out the content to hit that 1,000 word count to then get paid the 20, 30, $40 that you're paying them. So yeah, it's super important going into 2024 that you're not just padding out your content just for the sake of padding out your content. But yeah, the next myth, please.
So one of the things that I saw last year was that a lot of people, and I still see it on the YouTube comments today, is that a lot of people complain that it was AI content sites that got hit by the helpful content updates last year. So obviously, last year there were a bunch of updates from Google. One of them being the helpful content update, and there was all this pandemonium over Twitter and everywhere else about people's sites getting hit. But a lot of people blame that on AI content, and I absolutely don't think that's the case. I don't know about you, Kazza.
So it's not the case. I've seen a lot of websites that have actually went up using AI content. One thing that I would want to say is that a lot of the websites that did get hit were lacking a lot of signals, which I'll go over in my myth as well. But there's a lot more to it than is the content AI, is it not AI? Google, at the end of the day, if it's good content, if it's helpful content, if it's structured content, if it's not copycat content, if you're getting to the point in your content, Google's going to like your website. Don't think that it's not, just because it's written by AI. And to be honest, I don't know about yourself, AI now is, I see it almost like a calculator. So you'd be stupid not to use a calculator if it's like a long formula that you want to essentially get to the answer of. And if you're sat there as a content writer thinking that you can write better than AI, you're probably got a few screws loose, because AI, don't get me wrong, AI should be a tool. It should almost be like your personal assistant almost as a content writer. So don't think you're going to get phased out as a content writer. Just think of it as, this is my work buddy, let's call it AI, and I'm going to use it to essentially be able to produce more articles and then potentially even create better structured articles as well. So that's how I see AI. It's definitely not the case of, oh, my all my articles are written by AI. I've been hit, unless they are truly bad articles. Like if you're just going into ChatGPT, just saying write me an article to do with SEO, and then you're just uploading that, then that might cause some issues. But if you're actually structuring the content, if you are adding a little bit of uniqueness to the content, and whether you're using a tool like autoblogging or whatever else, it's not the case of that. That's the reason why your website's been hit. So the next myth that I want to go into, and it ties into what you've just said, Julian, is a lot of people think EEAT is a myth, right? And when I was talking about the signals before, a lot of websites are lacking core EEAT fundamentals, whether it's branded links, whether it's foundational links, whether it's offer mentions on other websites. So again, if we, I've spoke about this tons of times on my YouTube channel, but if you take a look at Elon Musk, for example, he's not just mentioned on the Tesla website, he's mentioned on hundreds, if not thousands, of websites across the web. So you think Elon Musk, you either think SpaceX, X, or Tesla, potentially PayPal as well, because he owned PayPal before. But if he went and done a website tomorrow to do with, for example, let's say he decides to go and build an affiliate website to do with electrical cars, he would do very well, even without any links, because his offer rank is really, really high. He's a trusted source when it comes to electrical cars, or when it comes to spaceships and rocket ships and stuff. So you always need to bear that in mind. The offer rank of your website is also important. Again, I should probably do a video on this, checking your offer rank, checking your website's branded links and stuff. But EEAT is definitely not a myth. The one caveat that I would say to that is, in some cases, you need less EEAT. So, for example, if you're trying to rank for, construction worker in Wisconsin, you might not need as much EEAT. Whereas if you are a law firm in New York, you're going to need more EEAT. If you're providing fitness advice to random strangers on the internet, you're going to need EEAT. So again, it boils down to what you were saying before, Julian, where you said it's not a one size fits all.
Yeah, that makes sense. It comes down a lot to branding as well, doesn't it? Because you look like a real business when you're getting all these mentions from other places on the web, and you you've got real pictures. You're not just like John Parrott with the pink afro on your website. Then all of a sudden you're real and you're authentic and you're genuine. I think that's why people love YouTube so much. It's like it's an actual real person. I
Yeah.
personally don't like watching AI videos because it lacks that EAT and that real person inside the video. And then this boils down a lot to backlinks too, because to get if you get mentions, you get backlinks. That points to your site and that builds more authority.
Mm-hmm.
And the final thing that I would say on that is there's so many people building out massive sites with AI, but so if that content playing field is quite level, then it's all about okay, what are the other signals off page with EAT and backlinks that you can build to differentiate yourself and build a moat around your business versus everyone else's.
Yeah, exactly that. It's EAT at the end of the day. One of the core things is links. I know Google says don't build links, but it's EAT is how many branded mentions do you have? How many unlinked mentions do you have? Like IBM, for example, if you take a look at their unlinked mentions, so not even links pointing through to their website. They've not even acquired link from certain pages. It's just talking about IBM news or IBM stock or whatever else. They have a lot of unlinked mentions talking about their brand. So they're a go to website of mine when I do like to look at EAT and stuff. But yeah, that has been our 6 SEO myths. Free from myself, free from Julian. Um, Let us know what you guys think. There might be some of you guys that disagree with us. But yeah, thanks for jumping on, Julian.
Thank you. Cheers.
And if you guys do want a free 15-minute strategy call, make sure to check out casualdash.com. Thanks.